Carla's Tasty Treats. I'm Carla and welcome to my kitchen. Tonight for dinner we're going to be having peppercorn crusted filet mignon steaks. These are going to be served with a Marsala mushroom wine sauce. For our side dish we're going to be having a Parmesan broccoli. This sweet and savory dinner is going to be having everybody asking for seconds. The first step tonight is to get our steaks ready. For that we're going to need a really hot pan. I have my pan starting to heat up and I'm going to add a bit of olive oil and a pat of butter. The reason I'm going to add both butter and olive oil is to help increase the smoke point so there's less smoke coming out of our pan. Now let's get ready to season our steaks. I'm taking each steak and I'm going to dip them, just the edges, into this seasoning mix. This is going to give a really great crust to each piece, which is going to look delicious. Once I'm done seasoning the steaks, I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of salt. And we can hear our pan sizzling. It's time to get our steaks in there. The most important thing to remember is once you get your meat in the pan, don't touch it. This is how you form that crusty outer layer, and it's very important to let it sit. It's been about 2 to 3 minutes and it's time to flip our steaks.
Always flip away so that you don't get juice splattered on you.
Our water's just about at a boil, so we're going to salt it. Now we're ready just about to add our broccoli. The broccoli has been cut and washed, so it's ready to go in our pot. Oops, we lost one. Give the broccoli a little stir so every broccoli head is underwater. This is important so that they cook evenly. Ever wonder how restaurants know whether your steak is done? A simple trick is this. If you press your steak and feel the doneness, it should be equal to a loose fist. This is about a medium rare. If you want your steak to be more well done, it should be equal to a tight fist. I like mine medium rare, so we're going to take these guys out to set them aside. Now that we've taken the steaks out of the pan, we're going to let them rest. Meat should rest for at least a few minutes after coming out of a hot pan so the juices can reabsorb. For these steaks, we're going to give them about 5 minutes. In order to keep them hot, we're going to tent them with some aluminum foil to keep the heat in. And let's just set them aside. Now we're going to get ready to make our mushroom Marsala wine sauce. We're going to use the same pan that we cooked the steaks in because that has a lot of meaty little bits stuck to the bottom. In order to get those up, the first thing we're going to do is add 1 pat of butter. We're going to let this start to melt while we use our whisk to get up some of the little bits on the bottom of the pan. Be careful here if you have a non-stick pan, you're going to need to use a whisk with some silicone tongs. Make sure you really get in there and get all those pieces up. I'm going to add about a half cup of finely diced shallots to this sauce. Those smell really good. Keep those moving around so that they brown evenly. Now that we've got our sauce going, we're going to add our mushrooms. Now that our mushrooms are starting to brown and soften, we're going to add our wine. This is about 1 cup of Marsala wine. Let's get that all in there and stir it around, again trying to get any bits that are stuck on the bottom into the sauce. Now that the broccoli's come to a boil, we're going to strain that out. Make sure you get rid of any excess water, and then we're going to pour this into a bowl. Now we're going to make our Parmesan broccoli. First thing I'm going to do is add about 1 tablespoon of soy sauce. I know it sounds crazy, but it's delicious. Then I'm going to toss about 2 tablespoons of freshly grated Parmesan cheese over the broccoli and toss it to combine. We can set this aside and get ready to finish our sauce now. In order to thicken the sauce, we're going to use a little bit of flour and whisk it in. You can see what a great job this does to instantly thicken any pan sauce. Now that we have it to a good consistency, we're going to add a little salt and pepper to season it. Let's make sure everything's in the pan, and we're going to let this simmer for a few more seconds while we get ready to plate. Now we're ready to plate our dish. First thing we're going to do is take one of our steaks. Place that front and center. We're going to take a good scoop of broccoli and fill up our side dish. And now we're going to spoon some of this pan sauce right over our meat. Don't be shy, because this is the delicious part. Here we have it, tonight's dinner. Bon appetit!